What up, fam? It's your boy DTLF back with another video. Guys, the off season continues to tug along nicely here. And we're in the thick of things because trades are happening. My phone is buzzing. My source is buzzing. Guys, crazy things. We're going to talk a little bit about some rumors. But first, got to give you guys the breaking news. Obviously, you guys might have heard by now. Kristaps Porzingis has been traded in a three-way deal, okay, to the Atlanta Hawks. Okay, in this deal, the Hawks received Kristaps Porzingis and a second-round pick from the Celtics. The Brooklyn Nets received Terrence Mann, Atlanta's number 22 pick, and Boston receives George Niang and one second-round pick. Okay, now this trade is very, very interesting. The Lakers were involved in said rumors. The Lakers will be involved in lots of rumors. But again, if I don't bring these rumors to you guys via video, it's because either my source hasn't confirmed or I just don't believe them. Right? What I do tell you guys comes from a place of education. You guys been here with me for years. You guys know I'm well connected now. But the interesting thing here is that Kristaps Porzingis goes to the Hawks. Saludos, David. How you doing, brother? Good to see you. Good to see you, man. Yeah, guys, the Celtics are very, very active. And I'm going to get more into the Celtics. I mentioned a trade that I would like to see the Lakers pick up the phone and do. And we got something interesting coming back. All right. But again, the Atlanta Hawks, again, they're looking to bolster their front court around Trae Young, right, aiming to become consistent postseason threat. Porzingis is a 7'2" stretch big. He's going to provide floor spacing. We know that. 41% from beyond the arc on 6.2 attempts per game. That's a pretty good sample size. He also a decent rim protection. The only problem with him is his health, okay? The Hawks are taking a gamble on his health. He's been injury prone. You know, he was dealing with an illness during the 2025 playoffs. They stay under the luxury tax, maintaining financial flexibility. So kudos to the Hawks on that. For Brooklyn side, what do they get out of this trade? The Nets, they acquired Terrence Mann, a versatile defender. You know, he's under contract for the next 2 to 3, I think 3 years. And a first-round pick, the number 22, adding to the draft capital, which the Nets have been rebuilding, right? This move aligns with the strategy to accumulate assets while staying competitive, right? That's or competitive. It's the Brooklyn Nets, right? But Mann is a decent player. And the pick offers some upside. As for the Boston Celtics, who have been very active here to start, all right, the first 2 days I belonged to Boston in the offseason. The primary motivation was to shed salary and escape the NBA's second apron, which again, you know, that second apron is deadly. We knew there was going to be trades that shocked the world. This is not one of them, right? Moving Porzingis was in the final year of a $60 million extension. It helps them achieve a little bit of financial flexibility while bringing George Niang. He's also a reliable shooter and a second-round pick, right? However, the return was a bit modest, okay, for a player of Porzingis' caliber. I thought they could maybe get a little bit more, maybe 2 second-round picks or something. But his injury concerns are serious. So that's why that was the trade. But again, Boston is really active in shedding salary. We told you guys it's going to be active off season, guys. We didn't lie. Hey, you guys are on the train. Remember what I said yesterday? That if I was the Lakers, I would pick up the phone, call Jaylen Brown. A lot of you guys said that was crazy talk. But check this out, right? Because rumor has it, right? And even my source is telling me that the Celtics are seriously considered trading Jaylen Brown. Now, that would be a stunner, guys. That would be an absolute stunner. But even my source confirmed that there's some truth to that. Now, obviously, it's contingent of what the trade offers are looking like. It might have to be a grandfather offer. But if you're the Lakers, you have to pick up the phone right now and offer Austin Reeves and whatever it takes to get Jaylen Brown alongside Luka, because that would be a lethal backcourt. I'm telling you guys, man, this Jason Tatum injury changed the course of the Celtics' future. They just got rid of Jrue Holiday. They just got rid of Kristaps. They're going to go more in the youth route. And Austin Reeves fits that youth route. He's still only 27. He still hasn't hit his major contract yet, right? And I might have to, Angie. I might have to, for reals. I really might have to stay on all day because stuff is happening, y'all. Stuff is happening. Smash that like button, man. You guys appreciate these quick videos. Niang for KP, wow. But they want to fleece us. That's the way the world works, unfortunately, Jonathan. You know, for us, it would have been a lot more of an asking price. But, hey, the Lakers are very active. They are very, very active. I'm going to give you guys a couple rumors later on the video. Let's see. Miguel says, crazy how the Celtics can make a trade within days and Rob needs years. Is the Laker tax is real, but there's still no excuses for Rob. Rob is under pressure. Rob is under pressure, and I'm gonna give you guys more details on that as well. Okay, Rob is under pressure with this new ownership group. Lakers do something. I'm sure they will. I'm sure they will. I'm sure the Lakers will. We got to stay patient, guys. But I think relatively soon, maybe today, maybe tomorrow during the draft. Again, for those of you new to the channel, hit the like button, subscribe. I will be covering the draft on Playback TV, and also I will have a post-draft reaction, especially after the second day, after the second round, especially if the Lakers make any moves. So anytime the Lakers make moves, I'm popping up. Period. Angie says, I love this for Atlanta. If he can stay healthy, why do the Nets need so many first-round picks? I think, you know what? I think the Nets don't know what they're doing. I think they're trying to accumulate picks to go out and try to make a deal, maybe for Giannis. Maybe that's what they're trying to load up for. I don't know if Giannis wants that, but, yeah. Appreciate you, Kimmy Goat. Yes, the receipts are here. Yesterday I mentioned that the Lakers should pick up the phone because we don't know how Boston is thinking. Now, I can't take full credit for that. My source did also, give me a little bit of insight on that and tell me, hey, man, watch out for Boston. They might be on a fire still from what he's hearing. So that had something to do with what I why I said the Lakers should pick up the phone and at least make the phone call because you never know. But I think Boston will have to be pretty crazy to trade him right now because they would basically be on a rebuild, right? And you keeping Jason Tatum, the injured player, who knows how he comes back. You're getting rid of Jaylen Brown, a champion, a two-way star in this league. That would be something, wouldn't it? Hey, Mike Connolly, appreciate you, man. Appreciate you so much. Thanks so much for Super Chat. He said, Dan, what do you think about getting Lonzo Ball or Brooks? I like Lonzo. He's been injury prone throughout his career, but I like him. As a backup guard for cheap, I'd be interesting. Dylan Brooks is not my favorite, but the Lakers could use more gritty 3-and-D players. He shoots a higher percentage from beyond the arc. I wouldn't be opposed to it, even though I'm not a fan, even though I'm not like a super, super fan of Dylan Brooks. But I am a super fan of Super Chat, so thank you so much, Mike Conley, for blessing the channel, man, as always. Mr. Mike. Hey, Ash, I do what I can, my friend. I do what I can. But I tell you, man, this offseason is very active, more active than I can remember. Now, this is my first year having a legitimate source to kind of, give me an insight on how things are happening right now. But I always had a great gut and a great vibe for the things that were happening and who the Lakers should pursue. Right now, I can tell you this. The Lakers are very active trying to get a big man. All right, very, very active. And I'm sure for the right piece, we seen the Vegas odds. I posted them here on the channel in the community section. By the way, you guys can also post in the community section. That's a new update for YouTube. So if you guys want have anything to post, it's kind of like Twitter now. Pretty cool. But I posted it, man, and I'll tell you, the Lakers are very active. And here is the rumor I have for you guys today on the Lakers while we're at it, okay? And it's a very interesting rumor. And that is the fact that the Lakers are still talking with the Jazz, interested in Walker Kessler as we speak. Now, Mark Stein is reporting that it looks like the the John Collin rumors were not true. Okay, I don't know who reported that. I didn't make a video on that because my source confirmed that he didn't have any insight on any sort of John Collins to the Lakers rumors. But you got to take everything you hear with a grain of salt with these rumors. There's a lot of fake reporters out there that just want the clout, and so they'll make up a rumor hoping that it lands. That is not something we do here on this channel. John Collins' rumor apparently wasn't true. It says here that finding a frontline center remains a clear offseason priority for the Lakers, all right, who have maintained a long-standing interest in Utah Jazz. Walker Kessler, baby. That's who they're really interested in, not John Collins. So contrary to what the rumor was earlier in the week, if you don't see me make a video about it, it probably has no validity to it, okay? The Jazz, though, they have made Kessler unavailable for some time, which might have contributed to reports last week that suggested LA would be interested in his teammate instead, right? But, again, in spite of a strong season that he had last year, according to Mark Stein, we are told that there isn't any suggestion that the Lakers are a trade suitor for the 27-year-old, okay? And he calls it a mischaracterization. Hopefully I said that right. So, yeah, there's that, all right? Be careful what rumors you believe right now. DTLF, would you trade Reeves and stuff for Derek White? I would do Reeves for White and another piece coming back this way. I think as much as I like White, 3-and-D guy, I think offensively, I still believe Austin Reeves is more gifted. Okay. White was a beneficiary of the fact that team was so stacked, he didn't get a lot of attention. So he could benefit off of that. If you come to the Lakers, you become the third option, you're going to get tons of attention. Can he produce the same way? TBD. Would you trade AR, Connect, and Lowry for Kessler? I'm sorry. Would you trade? Sorry, sis, I read that wrong. Would you trade AR and Connect for Lowry and Kessler in a heartbeat, sis? In a heartbeat, because that will give us the starting 5 and the starting 4. You slide LeBron back to the 3. You have Luka at the 1. You have a really big team, and my only concern is who are you going to put at the 2, right? We would have to go out and either trade for 1 or for free agency grab a 2. But you know who I want right now? Obviously, we want a big man. We want Walker Kessler and all that. I don't think you can miss the opportunity right now to pick up the phone and call the Boston Celtics. Yes, I said it before. People are saying they will never trade with the Lakers. They've done it before, right? Rick Fox comes to mind. They've made trades with the Lakers before, all right? And this is new ownership. It looks like they're having somewhat of a fire sale right now. So I think new ownership over there wants to put their imprint on that team. They want to erase and wipe away the stench of former management, former ownership team, and they want to start with a clean slate, and they want draft picks, they want young players, and they want players that can play. Now, we have some of those things, right? I want to put together a package of Austin and Dalton and a first-round pick for Jaylen Brown, who's a proven champion, who would be an excellent backcourt running mate to Luka Doncic and would elevate us big time, although the priority still remains the big man, right? So I'm just saying, y'all, we got to be really, really smart about what we offer and how we do it, because there's going to be opportunities here. Just like we mentioned before the offseason started, a lot of teams are having fire sales. They're trying to get under that second apron. Teams that were contenders, any injury might change that. I can see the Pacers trading away some players. I can see that happening, because even though they made the finals, Tyrese Halliburton, tore his Achilles, and he's going to be out, and who knows how he comes back. And they have a big man like Miles Turner under contract for 1 more year, expiring contract. They could be, a team, a point of interest, right? If the Lakers were interested in a Miles Turner, now would be the time to call. If we're interested in a Naismith or in a Nembhard, now would be the time to call, right? So there is tons of rumors happening right now. Some of them have validity. Got to give credit to guys like Mark Stein, who are doing a great job. Mark Stein broke this trade that I'm talking about right now, the Kristaps Porzingis trade, before Shams. So we got other reporters on the horizon. Also, want to give a big congratulations to Dan Welke, who just took over covering the Lakers for The Athletic. Okay, that is very exciting as well. So that's going to be another good source to follow if you guys are on Twitter. Another good source of he's going to be the new connected guy to the Lakers. So definitely awesome there. But again, Hawks, Celtics, Nets 3-way trade. Porzingis to the Atlanta Hawks. Okay. There's pros and there's cons. There's pros and there's cons. I'm going to give you grades for everybody. Okay. If you're the Atlanta Hawks, you get a B+ from me. Why? Because Porzingis addresses the key needs, right? Floor spacing, big with size and rim protection. And there's a big if healthy, right? At a low cost. But again, his injury history and the loss of a first-round pick, it's going to lower my grade a little bit, right? Now, if he plays, 50+ games, it could become an A+, because they only gave up a first-round pick. Porzingis could be if he plays good minutes, he could be an 18-10 guy with 2 blocks or a block and a half. So that's pretty good for just one first-round pick. The Brooklyn Nets, you get, let's see, what did the Brooklyn Nets give up? They ended up acquiring Terrence Mann and the number 22 overall pick. That's good value. That's good value for a second-round pick. So, yeah, not bad at all. They get an A from me. They get an A, right? They don't have any star-level players coming back their way, none of that, but it's definitely a pretty solid haul for minimal assets that they gave up. And then Boston, this is a cost-cutting move. They escaped the second apron, which is critical for them. But, trading a player like Porzingis means probably not going to be as competitive as he were. Again, Al Horford's getting older. What are they going to do there? Is it Cormet who they're going with now? But they only got Niang in a second-round pick. I'm glad to actually give them a D- on this grade, right? So yeah, it's more of a cost-cutting move for them here. All right, moving on to the next report. There's something interesting coming out right now, okay, Shams is reporting that the Mavs offers for Kyrie Irving's potential new contract extension have been less than the expected $40 million a year. Okay, if there is no long-term deal today, it is because Kyrie has deemed that the Mavs have offered well below market value, and he might pack his bags and dip. So Kyrie Irving, man, that's a name that's been connected to the Lakers for the longest. He's hurt though. That's the problem, and we don't need another point guard. So we're gonna put those rumors to rest right now, right? But what do you guys think of that? Do you guys think the Mavs are in the right to do that, or do you think they're doing them dirty by not giving him that contract extension that he would have deserved for surely if he wasn't hurt, right? How you guys feel about that? Oh, that's right, Chris. That is right, Chris. The 22 pick they got is from us. That's crazy. Man, that pick has bounced around like crazy. That's the pick that the Hawks acquired from the Pelicans, right? Because they opted to pass, and we ended up getting Dalton last year. So yeah, you're right. That is the pick. Wow, crazy. Thank you for letting me know. I wasn't aware of that. I didn't pay attention to that right there. That's a interesting little detail right there. Doing him dirty, but looking out for the franchise. That's true, Solo. Sometimes you got to do that, unfortunately. But yeah, you kind of have to feel bad for Kyrie. He got hurt at the wrong time, right before the contract extension. Down the road, though, that could be an interesting contract. He becomes a free agent, right, if he opts out this year. So that would be crazy. I'm hearing that the Mavericks would, have gotten pressure from some people in upper management to trade AD. So that has turned out to be a failed experiment right there in its own. That's very unfortunate. But again, yeah, it is what it is, man. CJ McCollum today got traded from the Pelicans, right? So there's been plenty of trades, guys. CJ McCollum, let me get the exact trade here for you. He's been a journeyman ever since he got traded from Portland. So now he's on his third team. But he got traded for Jordan Poole. This is the trade. Pelicans get Jordan Poole. What was the full trade? I'm sorry, I don't have the full trade before me. Let me pull that up for you guys. But Jordan Poole basically going to the Pelicans. CJ McCollum going over to the Wizards. So that's very interesting in itself. I didn't really go live for that trade because it's not really an impact trade. It's two mid-tier teams doing a mid-tier move. So the full trade is this. The New Orleans Pelicans are trading CJ McCollum and Kelly Olynyk and future second-round pick to the Washington Wizards for Jordan Poole, Saddiq Bey, and the number 40 overall pick in Wednesday's NBA draft. All right, tomorrow. Do not miss it. I will be live on playback. Only the first 50 get a VIP pass to watch it along. What do you guys think of that trade? I don't have many thoughts. That's two mid-tier moves right there. The Wizards, I guess they wanted to get off of that Jordan Poole contract. That's my take on that. And then they get an expiring deal in CJ, right, who's a veteran. They have a couple veterans over there. That's an interesting team to want to trade with. I think they still have Marcus Smart, don't they? Because if they do, I'd be interested in Marcus Smart if he's relatively healthy for the Lakers. We need the two-way defensive guards, right? That's what we need for sure. Let's see. Ange says the issue Kyrie has is teams not having cap space. Yeah, man. Kyrie has lost so much money. I feel bad for this guy, man. He's lost so much money due to obviously the situation he had in Brooklyn, and now the injury. Like, it hurt me. It really did. A Mamba disciple, one of my favorite players, being hurt at the worst time is just such a travesty. And now he's going to get cheated out of some money. So I hope he leaves. I hope he leaves and he joins a better situation. If he was healthy, I would have loved to have him as a Laker, even though we don't need him. I mean, who doesn't need Kyrie? You could use him, but I mean, technically, we need more defense, right? We need more size in the paint. That's what we need. Dan, would you trade Gabe and Maxey to the Wizards for Marcus Smart? Yes, in a heartbeat. Again, I've been a fan of Marcus Smart since he left Boston. I liked him before he joined Boston, right? When he played for OSU, I think, the college. He was really good for Boston as well. Outside of the flopping, I hated the flopping, but I always wanted Marcus Smart on the Lakers, and if there's an opportunity to pull up and snatch him, sure. Stephon going to play with Dame again. Oh man, it's crazy, bro. That's all I'm gonna say. It's crazy. The moves around the league right now are jaw-dropping because Giannis is still a major domino that may or may not fall this summer, and we're already getting this amount of moves. I'm expecting explosion and fireworks during tomorrow's NBA draft. I really am. That's what I'm expecting. Explosion and fireworks during tomorrow's NBA draft. I'm telling y'all right now. Um, he said, I will take Derek White. Now, who do you prefer, bro? If you could trade Austin Reeves in a package, who do you prefer, Derek White or Jaylen Brown? Because I'm taking Jaylen Brown. Can you imagine Luka Doncic, Jaylen Brown backcourt? That would be special, man. And rumor is they might be willing to dangle Jaylen Brown for the right pieces or piece, right? So let's see. Why not pick up the phone and figure it out, man? Figure it out. Anytime there's a player of that talent and that caliber, you have to pick up the phone at least. Yeah, most likely Boston won't make the trade with us, but you never know if you don't pick up that phone. This is the next rumor I wanted to talk about. I'm glad you brought it up, okay? Because Nuggets owner Josh Kroenke completely unprompted and just brought up the possibility of trading Nikola Jokic. Again, teams are trying to get under the aprons. The CBA has changed everything around. Teams are trying to save money, especially if you're not that competitive. The Nuggets were a one-hitter quitter. They were a Cinderella story, whatever, for that year, unfortunately for us. And I knew they were going to get back to the top. I predicted it. While everybody else was glazing Jokic and the Nuggets, I predicted that they were a one-hitter quitter, and I was right. Now they're looking to maybe even blow it up. Even for the owners to even mention that, if you're Jokic in his camp, you have to be very upset. And obviously the Lakers are going to monitor it. I think, Jokic is going to bring back a much bigger package from another team. And I'm glad. Honestly, as great of a player as he is, I do not want him here. We need more athletic size and defense. He's an offensive juggernaut beast. Him and Luka would be insane offensively, and I'm sure they would be able to plug players around them. But I think we should look at other players like Bam Adebayo, right? He made some interesting comments during his presser, during his exit interview to end the season this year. Talking about he don't know what Pat Riley's doing. Pat Riley is he's got an ego, okay? He's not going to take that at all from nobody. Team USA says Derek White. Team USA was wrong, but not by not bringing the best Celtic, which I've always said was Jaylen Brown, to Team USA. Jaylen Brown, but Celtics ain't trading him. I don't believe it. White is more realistic. Actually, my source confirms that they're listening to offers for Jaylen Brown, so they might actually trade him. Don't be surprised if they do trade him. Obviously, none of us are surprised if they don't, and they come out and they rebuke these rumors if nothing comes to fruition. But I do believe, based on my source and based on what we're seeing around the NBA, that they're at least listening to offers. And if something blows them away, they might pull the trigger, right? I believe, based on what ownership is doing, clearly cost-cutting moves, they want to have flexibility, but I believe the new ownership wants to put their imprint on this new Celtic team. They want to start from scratch, and they want to have flexibility, draft picks, and young players. That's why the Anthony Simons move, right? And now you see Kristaps Porzingis. What's next? Can Jaylen Brown be next? I think it's the time to trade him now if you're going to go that route. Unless this is just a retool, then no. But if it's truly a rebuild and they want to start from scratch, then they might be looking to trade Jaylen Brown. Right now, you can maximize what he bring back to the table. He's at the peak of his career right now, and this is what he will bring the most back. 2 years later, 3 years down the road, his value will decline. So if they want maximum value in return, believe it or not, especially with this new CBA, with the getting under all the aprons, would be tremendous for them. It would, because they're not going to compete for shit. They're not competing for diddly. I think that's what we have to factor into this. I'm sure Celtic fans are mad. They wanted to stay competitive, in spite of Jason Tatum having that ACL tear or whatever, the Achilles. I'm sorry. They wanted to stay competitive, but got to be realistic. This new CBA will punish you, take away draft picks, and not allow you to make any offseason moves if you're over those aprons. And the Celtics were grotesquely overpaid for a team that didn't get far in the playoffs this year, regardless of why, right? So we knew there was going to be some serious things going on, man. But this NBA is starting to heat up, man. My phone's starting to blow up. And I'll tell y'all, I had plans to go to the movies today. I might have to cancel those and postpone them because hearing so many things. Again, I got the juice, man. He said it'd be perfect for him to go to the East. Jokic, yeah, I would much rather see him in the East for sure. But I'm not afraid of Joker, man. If we build the right team around Luka, we can beat anybody. We can, Tell me you lying, bro. Jokic, bro, can't be. Again, ownership came out. I'm sorry, not ownership. The GM came out and said, if there's a will, there's a way, basically, but they don't want to do it. But the fact that they put the possibility out there, you have to be upset hearing this. to the public, right? This is something you might tell Joker in private, but this is a way of saying it's like reverse psychology. It's like if I come out and say, I don't want to have to do this, but if I have to do it, now everybody's on high alert. Everybody's going to put their best offers to the center of the table, and you never know. Something might click, and they might say, okay, I'll take this deal. So it wouldn't shock me if Joker gets traded this summer or the next one. But again, the NBA, man, anything is possible, fam. Anything is possible. With Brooklyn's draft picks, I think they might swing in on Giannis for the sweepstakes. Yeah, I mentioned that earlier. I think they're stacking draft picks to try to go out and get a superstar like Giannis. I think that's exactly what they're doing. There was rumored that Giannis would be interested in playing for Brooklyn. God knows why, but yeah, that's what was rumored, right? It is a bigger market, so I could understand it from that standpoint. It would be Giannis trying to put his stamp and elevate his legacy by giving a franchise that's never won a championship, right? So I can see where the appeal would be for the modern superstar to do that. But Kevin Durant already tried that. How did that work out, right? Also, the Brooklyn Nets already tried going the star route with, even though they were worn out already, but Paul Pierce, KG, they tried to recreate the Celtics. That didn't work out. So again, I think teams have to be careful how they build, right? I do have one rumor for you guys on the Lakers, okay? According to the newly hired Dan Welke of The Athletic, the Lakers have focused on stealing off organizational leaks that it felt were detrimental, end quote. Okay? Excuse me. It says, allowing them to get some big things done behind the scenes. So, again, apparently there were some things that some people within the organization weren't happy with. Whatever that means, it's very read between the lines, right? Whatever that means. But I hope this means that Kurt Rambis and Linda Rambis will no longer be a part of the team moving forward, right? That's what I'm hoping that it means. That's what I'm hoping. But again, it's all hearsay and it's all rumors for now. Take it with a grain of salt. It isn't new, Wyan. It isn't new, but this is what Dan Welke just reported, that they've been working on sealing leaks. I don't know if that means they've been working from a couple of years back or last year, or just now that the new ownership group is purchasing the Lakers, right? Whatever it is, Lakers are trying to improve as an organization. They're going to hire more people for the analytics department. They're going to hire probably more coaches. They're going to hire more trainers, more people to the staffs, maybe a co-assistant general manager. Who knows? But with a rich owner, anything is possible now. All right. I think that pretty much covers most of the rumors that I have and the news that I broke to you guys, both of the trades that I talked about. Gave you guys the grades for the Celtics. We talked a little bit about Kyrie potentially not re-upping with the Mavericks. That would be a little bit of a shocker because he already built a good relationship with Anthony Davis and all that. Unless the Mavs are thinking of going the full youth route, right? Since AD is injury prone, they might be looking to trade him. I doubt it, but they might be, right? But they got Cooper Flag. They shouldn't push it, right? But maybe the reason they want to hit reset, maybe it's because they want Cooper Flag to not play second fiddle or third fiddle to nobody and to spread his wings from the beginning. They don't want to stunt his growth, maybe. But I think it would be tremendous to keep AD on the team, keep Kyrie on the team, those star leaders, to kind of bring this young cat under their wing and teach him the ropes, teach him how to be a pro, how to be a star. That's just me, though. Dallas, they're a very good team. If they were 100% healthy, they'd be very dangerous, but they're not. That's the reality of things, right? Let's see. Jesus said Capella will be a Laker. Hawks can't re-sign him. I like that at minimal cost. I do not want to give him the full, if we can even clear that up. If LeBron takes a pay cut, I don't want to give him the full MLE. I much would prefer to give the full MLE to somebody like Naz Reid, right? Naz Reid and, Capella would be a great backup for veterans minimum. I don't think he will take that, though. Right? I think for veterans minimum, you're looking at players like Brook Lopez. There was a rumor that the Lakers had mutual interest with Kevin Love. Not from my source. There's an external source, but there's a rumor that the Lakers might have already verbally agreed with a veteran like Kevin Love. Now, Kevin Love is a capable floor spacer. Most importantly, he's a vet. They're trying to probably recreate the 2020 championship veterans, like when we had guys like JaVale McGee and obviously Jared Dudley. That's probably what they want. But again, for me personally, I think we got plenty of vets. I don't want to go out there. We don't need another Markieff Morris. We don't need guys like that, even though he's not coming back. I want guys that are capable and able. I'm tired of having dead weight on the roster personally. as a Laker fan. That's just how I feel about that. How do you guys feel about it? Do you guys agree or disagree? Lakers need to get better. Oh, for sure. We're working on it, Reese. We're working on it for sure. We might make a trade in the draft. What will you think of that? Listen, at any moment we can make it a trade. Yes, the draft could definitely be an opportunity, especially if the Lakers are trying to draft. But we can literally make a trade any hour, any minute. That's why I'm probably going to cancel my plans because things are starting to heat up again. My phone's starting to blow up. Stay tuned. I'm going to keep these breaking news videos brief because there might be multiple of them throughout the course of the day. So stay tuned, guys. And also hit that like button, subscribe, turn up the post noti bells, all that good stuff. I'll take final comments and questions now. No to Kevin Love. Kevin Love retired. He might come out of retirement. We need to get younger, more athletic, and hungrier. Facts. That's what I think. Athleticism and youth. And you know what? We got to get tougher, man. We had a bunch of players that really got bruised and battered around the first round of the playoffs. They look like those they look like those fruits when they fall off the tree and they got the little bruise on it. You know what I mean? We don't want to look like that. We need to get tougher. LeBron's getting older. We got to get tougher. We got to get athletes. We got to get tough players. We got to get players that are going to come out here and battle, set tough screens, do the dirty work, spot up, knock down shots. We need role players who play their role to a T. That's what we need. Dan, who do you think we get? There's a couple players that come to mind. Again, if I'm the Lakers, I'm swinging for the fences to try to get a Jaylen Brown. I'm trading Austin Reeves for Jaylen Brown. And if I have to add to the package, I definitely will. First round pick, Jaylen Brown. You guys want Dalton Connect as well with Austin Reeves? What do you want? What combo players do you want, Boston? If you're going to have a fire sale, right? That's a big if. I think we can get a Walker Kessler. We might have to overpay a little. And I'm not sure if new ownership group is willing to overpay and throw in an extra first round pick or whatever. But I think wholeheartedly, I feel like the Jazz would be a very ideal partner. They have pieces I like. Another player I would love for us to go and acquire and keep an eye out on him. You heard it here first. And that is Malik Monk. He has no business playing for the Kings. They are not a contender. They got too many shooting guards, right? Zach LaVine, players like that. They can dangle a player like Malik Monk. Maybe we can have him for a couple second-round picks at the rate that these other players are going, right? We'll see. I would love to throw in our name in the hat for Sabonis. Not a fan of him, but he is very effective, and he would fit perfectly on this Lakers team as a floor spacing big who can rebound, okay? And he can block shots as well. 7'1", or is it 2? Has the height, has it all, great footwork. Those are the players the Lakers need to be targeting for sure. But my priority, if I'm the Lakers, I start with Walker Kessler. And if we can do that, if we can get a Walker Kessler, we're already winning the offseason. Walker Kessler is what the doctors ordered. He doesn't need the ball in his hands to be effective. He's a rim rolling, lob threat catching, pick and roll guy who's going to get everything off of his hard work and being scrappy, second chance points, rebounds, right? He's going to crash the glass. He's going to block shots, one of the best young rim protectors. I'm just not sure with this new CBA that the Jazz want to continue to pay players to lose. They already paid Larry Markkinen, who they might trade as well. I'm not sure they want to pay both him and Kessler and continue to be a lottery team. It just wouldn't make sense, right? Let's see here. Dan, Bam Adebayo, your thoughts? That's a name that's been intriguing me for a while, even before the rumor came out as well. I told you guys Bam on the Lakers or Triple J, but I prefer Bam, I think, would be phenomenal, right? It would be a fit from the heavens, okay? You want to talk about high energies, a scoring ability? Do you remember how well LeBron James and Bam played together when they were on the floor together for Team USA? I think the fit is already there. And then Luka would just have a tremendous player as an option, you know, down low and to play pick and roll and switch coverages and whatnot. I love Bam Adebayo. Is he going to be on the trading block? TBD. Pat Riley's very stubborn. Jimmy requested a trade, and it took a while for it to happen, right? It took a while for it to happen. There was a lot of ugliness there. Well, would that need to happen with Bam for him to get traded? Maybe. I also hear, yes, I'm glad you brought it up, Wiggins. Lakers have inquired about him. Now, inquiring could just be, hey, we're interested in Bam. No, what about Wiggins? That's an inquiry, right? It doesn't mean we're engaged in talks. Otherwise, I would have been here earlier. It just means we inquired. All right. Inquired could be a quick phone call. Boom, done. So just want to break it down. Don't want nobody to get too excited. Wiggins would be awesome. For sure. He would, Nielsen. Absolutely. Jalen will be making 16 million. I'm good. That's way too much. It is a lot for sure. It is a lot for sure. But 60 million for multiple years, right? The CBA is going to get, is going to improve. The thing about him is he's a two-way star, and those don't grow on trees, unfortunately, sis. I would love to have him, even at 60 mil. Jaylen Brown is a hooper. I don't like the Celtics, but I've always been a fan of his game individually. I've always thought he's the best player on Boston. They'd be silly to trade him. But if you can pull the rug from under their feet, sell them a couple of players. Austin Reeves did drop a 40-piece there. Or was it 50? I forgot. He did lead us to a victory there. I mean, a cold white boy in Boston is exactly what they would love. Selling tickets for the Celtics, Celtics. That's what they're all about. Yes, they're about championships as well. Most of those came in the dinosaur era, so we're not worried about them. But yeah, as far as Jaylen Brown, 60 mil is the new 50 mil, right? And so on and so forth. Because the CBA is going up and is improving. And to be honest, LeBron is going to retire soon. So Luka and Jaylen Brown, I like that as a core moving forward. If we could somehow get Kessler to that or some other rim protecting big, now we got a really, really nice core that balances offense and defense, because Luka needs, even though Luka's a decent defender on ball, he's still got to work on his footwork. Been hearing he looks tremendous already, and he's in great basketball shape, probably the best basketball shape he's been in since he came in the league. And but if we can get a true backcourt defender, whether it's Derek White or Jaylen Brown or somebody like that, that can really take us to another level. Even Marcus Smart in the backcourt alongside of Luka would be awesome if Austin came off the bench. So for the moment we got Luka, one thing I wanted, sis, is for Austin to come off the bench, because I knew that defensively Luka and Austin just wouldn't be a good look for us, right? They're going to get cooked. And that's exactly what happened, especially in the playoffs. So I think it's time for another backcourt. Now, would I be disappointed if we came back with the Austin and Luka backcourt? Well, that depends. Did we get an anchor? Because even having an anchor like a Walker Kessler, if guys like Austin and Luka get beat off the dribble, now you got somebody to meet you there like Mutombo with the finger wag. And that changes everything up. It alters shots. It makes people be more self-conscious about the way they're attacking, the way they're playing the game. Once we traded AD, we didn't have zero rim protection. Now, credit to the Lakers, because there was a stint when Jackson Hayes has stepped up and the team was looking pretty solid, but we got exposed in the playoffs. We still need that rim protector, that anchor, that 7-footer to grab the rebounds and do all that good stuff. But again, I think Jaylen Brown is an opportunistic opportunity, right? You got to at least throw your name in the hat. You just never know. I don't think it'll happen. I don't think Boston will trade for us, but thinking versus what might happen, you'd kick yourself in the head if there's an opportunity there and you don't take it. There's other options though, like I mentioned, and I'm telling you guys this right now. The trade that's going to happen for the Lakers this offseason may be somebody that we're not talking about yet, right? That has been how Rob Pelinka has operated, and it looks like new ownership wants to operate the same way, because they're plugging up leaks, right? So, man, this is awesome, man. I love the offseason. I could talk all day, guys, all day, but I won't do that because we might be coming back later on tonight for another breaking news video, hopefully one relating to the Lakers. Jonathan, thank you so much for being a member for 5 months already, my guy. You the man. He said Laker fans are already freaking out. Let Rob cook. Well, that's what we do, Jonathan. We are Laker fans. We're going to freak all the way out, especially after getting eliminated in the first round. So you got to love it, man. The passion bucket by Laker fans, I salute y'all. Day and night, we talking Lakers, baby. We love it. But I feel you. Yes, we got to see what Rob can do, because he is going to be in the hot seat. I believe so. I believe this is his 1 year to get things together and to get us out of the first and second rounds. I think anything short of that, he deserves to get fired. Period. You don't have a team with Luka, LeBron, potentially Austin, and can't get us out of the first round. Can't do that. Not again, right? But anyways, guys, thank you so much for your comments, your participation, your questions and concerns. Hopefully this was a very informative video for you guys. If it was, please Do me a favor, hit that like button. I will be here for you guys to see what happens next, all right? Not just for the Lakers, but around the league. So stay tuned. Keep it locked right here for all things Lakers, NBA, and so much more. Major shout-out and appreciation to the sponsorship Prize Picks. Do not forget, promo code DTLF. Underdog as well. Promo code DTLF. All right? I will see you guys hopefully later on. Enjoy the rest of your evening. Peace.